Airline infrastructure gets a stress test. Rising spring break travel providing a critical check ahead of the summer season. This as the industry is set to realize the gains from route cutbacks and airport improvements. But is it sure to sizzle or set to fizzle? Joining us now, we've got Mike Boyd, Boyd Group International President. Mike, you've joined us in the past and talked about what the infrastructure needs to update here for airline operators to really service customers the best here. And that also stems even up to some of the investments that need to be made at the federal and regulatory side as well. And so have any of those investments been made thus far in advance of what is anticipated to be another busy summer travel season?
Well, as far as the investments in our physical plant, anybody like me who grew up near LaGuardia Airport goes there today and thinks they've arrived on another planet. I mean, we've now put in a lot of new airport facilities. We have the best airport system in the world. Real issue here is our air traffic control system has fallen behind. And unfortunately, airlines and the consumer is going to have to adjust for that with less capacity out there. And that's all across the country.
And I got a notice last week that American Airlines cutting capacity specifically at LaGuardia. And as you're writing, this affects not only New Yorkers, but people all across the country and potentially the world, because this is a gateway to other locations. And I'm just wondering, are other hubs similarly situated?
Well, sure. American Airlines cutting frequency to Chicago, which is another one of its hubs. That means there'll be fewer connecting seats to Spokane, fewer connecting seats to Omaha. So it affects everybody. And airlines have a very limited ability at this point in time to move airplanes around. In other words, replace a 100-seater with a 200-seater as a general idea. So it's going to be fewer seats, but it is going to affect the entire nation because we just haven't invested as we should have over the years in an air traffic control system. It's been bureaucratic. And until we get that fixed, we're still going to be in a constricted air transportation mode.
Are we witnessing a reset to the real capacity benchmark that is going to be kind of at available, or at least kind of talked about among the airlines as well? Because all of them have said, yeah, 2023, we're in pretty good position to get back to 2019 or pre-pandemic norms in comparison to the capacity figure. But if you're kind of cutting permanently or suspending some of those routes, what does that do in terms of the normalization of what they would see as 100% going forward from here?
It's called higher fares. I mean, bottom line of the whole thing. Now, I've talked to a couple of airline CEOs over the past couple of weeks, and there's some optimism about what's going to happen in the future, but they know it's very uncertain. But things are pointing in the right direction. I honestly think that leisure air travel somehow has moved up the food chain of needs from where it was 10 years ago, 5 years ago, where that trip to Florida, that trip to Phoenix is far more of an important event than it was before. So I think we have a different travel model today. And I think there's carriers like certainly Frontier, Avelo, Breeze that are bringing new capacity into a lot of markets. So it's a strong market. But again, when you have to cut back on capacity, that means what capacity is left is going to cost you more.
And you were talking about the FAA really not being up to snuff here in terms of what it could be or what capacity demands of it anyway. And we saw this fallout with Southwest Airlines. They had not invested in the CapEx to update their reservation, or at least their pilot location and flight attendant location systems. We're not able to serve tens of thousands of customers. Any other potholes like that are in the industry that might be popping up over the next year?
Well, I think the good news, if you want to call it that, this airline Grinch that stole Christmas at Southwest, unfortunately, they're fixing that, but that was due to Southwest internally. On the other hand, we do have an air traffic control system that we've been talking about since 1994, Congress elsewhere, that needs professional attention, and it has not been given that. The problem is the FAA, I don't think they can invest in a stapler without getting some kind of an RFP to stapler companies. That has to be fixed, and until it is, I don't care who's running the place, we're just not going to have it. That has to get fixed. But as far as our airports go, I'm pretty proud of the United States of America.
All right. If all they need is a stapler, they can borrow some of my coins, and I'll fund the stapler. Mike Boyd, Boyd Group International President. Mike, appreciate the time this morning.
My pleasure, sir.